Hey, hi everyone. Good afternoon. Myself is Jeevan. Okay. Uh, I think by seeing everyone's face, we are so tired from morning. I know you guys, your guys. So usually it happens. So shall we refresh ourselves for a minute? Shall we? Okay. It's activity time. So let everyone get up. It's not a school. It's a refreshment event. Like raise your left hand, raise your right hand, clap until I say you start. You keep on clapping. Thanks for the stand-up ovation. Thank you so much. You guys made me. Finally, I got stand-up ovation from everyone. Cool. I think now everyone bit refreshed. Yep. It's me. I'm a open source contributor and senior front-end engineer at 73 Strings, and I'm more towards an Angular. And also, have you guys heard about Stack Blitz? So where you can use your web frameworks in the browser itself. So web container oriented framework where you can run your web apps in the browser itself. So I'm a contributor on that. It's a well known in the web world, and I used to work on Angular related issues and TypeScript related issues, and also we are maintaining some open source icon libraries. So this is pretty much about me. And as we have know today's topic, right? So from the morning, let's take an example. So from morning, we have been seeing A, where it generates codes, it gives a code, it does this, it does that. But are we sure that whether the code is given by that is truly works for production ready? That is the biggest question which a lot of people have, right? Even let's be honest. Even when AI comes, as an senior engineers, even if we do prompt, we will see some. This can be done in a different way because this is not an ideal architecture which we do. Or as a fresher, if you could get some code and if you run, it's a magic for you guys. Like you are getting an output, but probably some techie guys might be seen this feature or seen this memes. Client will never use your machine. It's a very what to say usually used memes in developer world because we want to do a development for the client machine, not for the our machine. So our machine will always be super good to do the development, but not in the face of client machine. The problem is what A generates the code, it should be evaluated. That's the core here. So that's where Angular brought up a library where it audits your code and gives real-time scorings and the what to. You can also say it tests behalf of you. It's you can put it like that. So what are gonna we see? So what is web code gen score and why this tool is built, and also key use cases and the quality check and report and setup and roadmap. So let's see. The core definition is like as I said, evaluation of quality of web codes. So today, even if you could see, Chrome itself integrated with an AI. If you do an inspect element, so you can get lot of AI features. And also you can start developing a front-end code like within a 10 to 15 minutes if you are giving a well prompt. So you will get entire front-end setup within a matter of 10 minutes. But how will you evaluate that? That is the main point. So using this library where you can evaluate your code. And why we need this? The potentially we have said like AI is evolving, AI can do error, and we want to figure it out and fix them as soon as possible. And we don't want to say basic silly mistakes which AI does. So let AI itself figure it out what mistake it has been done and let it fix it by itself. So that's the main agenda. And also the use cases, right? If you see, we can do a model comparison. So now we have plenty of models. Claude have so much models, Gemini have so much models, and even if you compare these models, right, each does their works in a unique way in which it can be does. For example, let's take Cursor. So if you could see Cursor 3, they have released a new model called Compound, which does very thing compared to other LLM models. It does every coding steps way faster. But tomorrow it will come Composer 2 or Composer 3. It will do more faster than this Composer 1. It is an obvious one. But where we get the comparison result? So using this, we will get a comparison result. So we can evidently see the outputs where how these LLM models are used to generate a code and the evaluation of it and the quality monitoring as I clearly mentioned. Excuse me. Yep. So what we have, what are the things that library does inbuilt? So as I said, it builds internally. So currently the problem is whenever you use any AI model, it will only build a code and gives to you. For example, you can say like we can use Firebase Studio or any other web-based LLM models, but at the end of the day, we can't be always rely on web browsers. So you developers loves to be develop in their IDEs or terminal web-based editors. So we need an editor-based build success. So it will do a build check. It will do an runtime error. And the great or super feature what I feel is like accessibilities, because if you could see in this world, we are tend to develop a website, but we are not focusing on accessibility things. So there are a lot of accessibilities things which we want to develop, and if you are a web-based developers who knows like you is bringing a law that every website should have an accessibility, because the disabled peoples also should use our application. We should not develop a app or an application where only the people who can use it. We want to develop an application where everyone should use it, even a blind people should use it. So like that we should start thinking and developing. So this library does that, and also it checks for security, and also it does an auto rating, also it does a best practices. So these are the core features which it has. So how we can do or how we can use this for your apps? So it's a basic instruction. This is the npm registry name where you can use web code scorer, and you need a token. So if you are a student or you now, okay, I'll give you a simple thing. Now in India we are getting Perplexity, Gemini, GPT, everything for free. But it's not free. It's your data is the cost. So please be cautious about your data. So don't give any personalized data in those models, because your data is the cost there. But use that leverage, or what I say, use that thing for your development. So they are giving for free for 18 months or 1 year stuff. Use that, educate yourself and upgrade yourself for next level, which will be helpful. So to get a key in these three, you can get any keys. You can get Claude key, or you can go for Gemini, and Gemini Studio you will get a free key for that, and you can use those keys. And this is a basic command which I use for Angular, and this is the command where you can run for the export the report, and this is pretty much how it looks when it generates a code. So it will explain which model it is used and which framework and which run agentic run it is used, and also what is the score of it, and build status, runtime error status, security status. This is a very pretty much thing which I shared here, but we will see this in a real time. And what is the future of this? So if you could have seen, we have Web Vitals in morning second session, which is Siddhan taken, right? So they are planning to integrate that. So where you can do a performance testing, and you can do unit testings and integration testings. So already lot of companies moving towards automated UT and IT, means unit testing and integration testings. So if we get everything is been integrated in the one library, so it will start generating automatically. So you need not to spend additionally for the other companies or other frameworks where they want to be developed. So you can ask your LLM to do so. So it will start generating the moment it starts generating the feature itself. And let's see how things work. So if you could see, is the screen is visible for everyone clearly? Is the font size is perfect? Cool. So if you could see, I'm using a Gemini API here, and I have not installed it yet. I'm not a fan of installing all the libraries in my local machine. I just use npx here, and the command which we want to use for that, and evil is the keyword where you want pass the all the flags into this. And as of now, this library supports only by natively it supports two, which is solid.js and Angular, but you can use this for other frameworks, like you can use for Svelte, you can use for React, Next, for everything you can use it. But by natively they supports only these two. But if you are using to other frameworks, you have to do some configurations where you can check that in their GitHub. So they have detailed out how to configure these for the other frameworks. So by default, they uses Gemini 5 model, and also by default they generate 5 example projects, but I have just used limited one due to the time constraint. So it takes a minute. So now we have a context, whatever has been done. And these are the 2 examples which I have already developed. So you can see the LLM outputs. Let's go here. This is a simple application which is a flip a coin. So where everyone used to develop when we are an initial phase of learning programming. So if you could, how many of you are Angular developers or any other front-end developers? Nice. So if you could know, like using the solid.js signals state management pattern, now Angular also moving towards that. So that is the same way here also they are using. It's a very simple code. This entire project is developed by this library. I never touched one line of code here. That's the same way here. If you could see, it also creates an interface, whatever we want, and also it uses the best practices. In Angular, there is a concept called change direction. It should be always on push. and it uses that, and also optimizing the images and with the sample data, proper TypeScript best practices. If the property should be read only, it should be read only, and return types. I have seen the projects where we use always any, we don't give types. I know that pain. People who are laughing for front-end developers, sorry for that. But yep, so it works perfectly. So let's run. If you could see, it failed in the build, and if you could see, it's a poor quality. So let's see what happened here. Let's go for the report. Yeah. So now in my screenshot example, if you could see, we have got everything has been successful because that time it worked perfectly. Now it didn't go well. Let's see why. So if you could see, the application didn't build completely. The build has got failed. The test is no test has been run, and only security check is passed, which means we don't have any XSR attack related code in our project, which in the prompt. So let's see what prompt A used. So this is the prompt which is used from our LLM. You can modify this. You can modify this entire LLM context here using an additional flags, and you can see please fix and give errors and return the correct code. So you can use these prompts, and this is an AI summary what it actually got an error. So when it running the build, it got to these errors. So it's giving the actual errors which happen when taking a build of this application. And this is a complete code summary for what happened, what is the status of it, and initial build state, repair build state. So when we are taking a build, what happened here, why the application got built. So each and every detailed context will be given in this thing. So this is an V1, so you can expect more robust thing in this library. But as this is a starting of V1, they started with the Angular and Solid.js because Solid.js is the one of the partner for this library, and they have started this thing. So if you are start developing using only, I have seen people who are only building their projects using white codes. So if you are kind of that person, definitely this will be your checker or protector. So this is pretty much about it, and let's go for slide and time for your questions. And if you want to follow me, you can use this QR.
Can you show like the example of what with Next.js with this tool?
For Next.js, it's a pretty okay. This is a GitHub repo where you can use an additional things. So it will take 15 to 10 minutes to set up an initial base. So this is a GitHub link where you can use and config your framework based setup, and you can start doing this thing. Any other questions?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm not a front-end developer, but I'd like to know why can't SonarQube does all this test? Because here we are giving LLM inputs, right?
Yeah.
So every time the LLM input can change. When the input is changing, the build might be success or sometimes can fail.
Yeah.
Based on it. So your input is dynamic, right? It is not static input.
Yeah, no. Here, I have in this example, I have just used the one of the example which they have predefined. I'll show you now. So if we could go here in this example prompts, these are the static prompts. So the prompt which we used is this one, I think so, greeting card maker. So this is the prompt which it randomly picked. So when In this example, it randomly picked the prompt. But when you are using your feature to do a development, you should be giving your prompt as a static, not a dynamic one.
So basically an test case value.
Yes. Hope no one have any questions. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Okay, Tala. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Recognizing the insightful session with Jeevan Mahesha on AI code and audits, we are honored to present Mahesha Victor as a token of our appreciation, requesting Mr. Jeevan to kindly come forward and do the honors.
Thank you.